Alright, so I'm Viz,
This is SDSF.
and we're just gonna commentate this epic lava run that we did. So part of our strategy was just to buff on the go, and that's pretty much what everybody's doing right now. Everybody just loaded up and headed out to the first fight.
Chugging your pots. Chug your Yugo pots before you step in. And I think we chugged our Abishai pots right after.
And the general strategy is to make sure that you lay down the CC and have it pulled back towards the group. That way people won't get beaten down. It's a good way to round up the trash. And so see how a lot of
Yeah,
the
everybody's go.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the DPS go straight for the blade barriers because that's the center of that is where the arty is, and attack deck can really kill you. So taking those guys down is super important. And that's me failing finger death there.
Send the tank in first to pull everybody back through the webs and the disco balls. Well, the casters. Take out the artificers. They're the ones that will CC us. Everything else is just a DPS battle.
And a good thing to do is to have the healers stay in the back to avoid the tactical detonation that the artificers cast. So just having them stay far back as they can and stay spread out, and you can usually preserve one healer up. So I know you can't see it right now because it's from the point of view of myself as the sorcerer, but when you're beating down the juggernauts on epic, try and get the main tank to tank them and then have everybody else beat on the back. And for this part, going left is usually or going left or right, just picking one side and going it is a lot easier to heal because if people are running behind the pillar, it's harder to heal and people tend to die in this area.
Yeah, as a healer, just make sure everybody goes left. Maybe one caster hangs back and dances. There will always be a paladin or somebody that sneaks around the right side and flanks the party.
Yeah, my web was nowhere good enough to cut it on these guys, but just out of force of habit, I guess I dropped it.
If the party's doing it right, only one person will be taking damage during these parts. Like once the casters take out the arties, just your tank will be taking damage, and you can scroll heal him and use your healing word on him. And if he's got good healing amp, you can keep him up without using mana. Um, I've made it all the way to the platform on Epic without expending any mana when somebody else does the buffs.
Yeah, as a healer, that really should be the case on the run-up. Shouldn't need to do any actual mana heals. Should be mostly scrolling. It's again about aggro control is how you preserve resources in this quest. And for speed runs, on the run-up to the end fight here, you can see that I'm passing out buffs as we go. It's really important to keep refreshing the buffs. Not so much because you can't keep track of them, but if you go down or if the buffer goes down, those guys will be sitting without buffs for a good 2 minutes and can really hurt yourself. So people really undervalue the importance of buffs, I think, in this raid, so it's a good thing to make sure you keep your party hasted, especially the tank.
For this part, putting down the CC, getting these guys under control, because having a bunch of arrows flying around the place is just a pain on the healers. Just getting them under control makes your mana last a lot longer.
We usually have one of the DPS be our designated leader, and everyone will follow him and attack what he's attacking in this part. That way people are bunched up and easier to heal. They usually go for the artificer who's sitting at around 7 o'clock right there.
Yeah, usually make sure everybody's saves their power word kill just for that one artificer. And yeah, it's really important, I think, to designate one person. I usually make them target that person and not even the mob they're fighting, so they can follow his circle around, so that I only have to heal one person. I can use mass heal and not have to use cures, uh, so I can be a lot more mana efficient.
So it wasn't really shown in this run, but our Khyber humbucking did a really good job of pulling the um, okay, maybe he didn't do such a good job. It's a difficult job really to pull those guys off from the start because there's people swinging e-sauces everywhere. But getting those dogs off the main tank is really important. Just because if they drop a goo like they did back there, it can really wipe your party pretty quickly if people aren't sharp about it. As you can see, our light monk already died, so that was kind of a problem. But we had a good tank who picked up pretty quickly and did manual blocking to avoid stun.
We had a lot of DPS here, and you'll see in a minute he's gonna flip, and I think he kills somebody too when he flips. If you're healing the tank, be ready to know who he's gonna flip to, and just be ready to drop a mass cure crit or something on the party, a really fast heal, and then be ready to retarget the tank if he intimidates and gets him back.
Make sure you
He
also
flips a couple times.
make sure you also have a forge buff order lined up. That way you won't let the lob get the forge buff ever. And for our speed runs, we had the people with the forge buffs get back in on the lob to really max out the DPS there. And then here's me using the prismatic spells to take down the pillars. It was just an extra thing that I could do while we were DPSing the lob. Cocaze was also helping me out there. I'm laying down a cloud kill there. Again,
You see, we got Comet Fall too. You gotta watch out for those. Don't stand too close together when you're doing the support stuff.
right, yeah, if you have all the healers bunched up and one comet fall, tanks without heals for a good 3-4 seconds. Pretty major. So that's a common error. Make sure you jump into the water instead of just walking in because you'll take damage. It's still part of this raid that I think is not working as intended. But yeah, it's just make sure you jump in before you do that. We usually have one of the ranged tunes take down the tops of the pillars just because they have lower HP. And that's Bloodluster and getting stunned from trying to get the forge buff again. But yeah, usually we have the ranged characters go after the tops just because they're a lot weaker and easier to take down. But here's me helping out with the Disintegrate, which works extremely well against the pillars DPS wise. So our general strategy throughout this raid was to have our main tank hold aggro as much as he could, and occasionally if it flipped then we just let it flip, and our healers were really on target, so whenever it flipped they'd be healing whoever it flipped to, and then we'd just have the main tank intimid back, so it's pretty much full-time DPS all out. And there he's flipped right there. Notice how nobody died. It was a good pickup.
Yeah, the guys on his back stayed close together. It was easy to just throw him one quick heal, and then the tank was really fast to re-intimidate. So I knew I only needed to throw him one heal, and he would get him back quick. I think he's a half elf too, so he has 2 chances. Well, not 2 chances, but he's always got one off timer.
You can see our party is pretty stacked up with the E-sauces. Off-tank DPS wise, it's a pretty good option, if not the one of the best options for sustained DPS. So if you're looking for good off-tanks, you're looking for E-sauce users. And we also got Sunder going on him, as well as Destruction. Again, every edge we can get on him.
And the blasting chime.
Oh yeah, that's pretty clutch. Make sure that only one of your party members is using it, because I mean, it's not going to stack if we have multiple. Alright, so this was a really good pickup there by our main tank. He managed to pull aggro back. I'm not sure if he intimed him, but picking it back up really saved a lot of people there. Just because we weren't sure who had aggro. Could have gone pretty far south if that wasn't taken care of. So yeah, for this run, speed runs, we really just had everybody get in as soon as they could. Didn't really wait for any aggro build up. Our main tank had a lot of hate gear, so that helped a bit too.
Yeah, he's a stalwart. And also, you notice, like, if Lord of Blades lands on somebody and runs away, you don't have to heal them immediately. You can wait to scroll them, unless it's they're really low on HP. Because once he lands on you, he goes away from you. So if you're trying to save on mana, that's a good one. You can just wait for your scroll. So hopefully they don't run back in through a blade barrier or something. Our party was very conscious of not doing stupid stuff.
So here we gotta flip a couple of them, just shield blocks till we get it back, and there he goes to I guess the Rain of Blades stage. An often debated topic is who's good for kiting, both the blade section as well as the final quarry fight. We pretty much settled on a favorite soul to do that job, just because of the self-healing, the DR. Warforged is even better because they're able to defend against flesh to stone. And they can also greater restore themselves. So again, a bunch of great stuff that you can get all in one.
Yeah, make sure you're scrolling that on yourself, and I don't know if you're carrying it or not on a favored soul, but you need to be scrolling yourself with that, and because if you get too much charisma damage, you'll just be helpless to even help to do that. So you don't get it's a caster level check, not a charisma check on a favored soul. Because I got helpless one time while I was kiting, and I had to scroll myself greater restoration instead of cast it.
Yeah, I don't know who our tank back there was, or who our DPS was back there, but I think maybe Bloodluster or Swez had the aggro right off the bat, and notice how he just stood still. That's what you got to do. If you kite him around, he'll run over people, he'll whack other people. Just really staying still and being cool and letting the healers know you need a heal is really enough.
Every time the party gathered to, Viz was hasting them, and they were getting rebuffed, whether they were asking for it or not. Like, we're keeping track of that stuff for them. Right here, keep an eye on SDSF, because they get Comet Fall, but I run out right before, and that tossed the tank a heal and then the party a heal. Gotta watch out for getting Comet Fall in the middle.
Yeah, that was a real sharp pickup. The Rain of Blades visual lasts longer than the actual damage, so you can actually pop out of there before the visual goes away. And in times when people get Comet Fall, it's really helpful to have a healer out there. You can emergency keep the tank up. Otherwise, if everybody's Comet Fall and the tank gets no heals, Lord of Blades runs to the center, everybody's screwed. So when we got to this point, we really just tried to beast him down, get him to go to 5% as fast as we could. Didn't want to let this last any longer than necessary.
I just try to stay in the middle as little as possible. Get one guy to stay, one of the healers to stay in the middle as little as possible. Maybe so you can take your health only down to half through the Rain of Blades.
Notice how the DPS kept swinging after he'd visually flown up? You can actually still damage him as he's doing that. So keep swinging when he's going up and you'll still be dealing damage.
Here comes the CC for the trash mobs. And for this part, Humbucking, the artificer who's been kiting the dogs, is going to continue kiting the dogs. And then we're going to have a separate kiter, SDSF, kite the quarry trash after these guys go down. So we're kind of just double kiting here at the end. The dogs and the quarries can overwhelm you.
Yeah, one of the worst combos is to get a Powered Stone or Flesh to Stone and then get a goo placed under you. It's pretty fatal pretty quickly. What you saw back there was a poor pickup on my part. You always want to try and be aware of where the Lord of the Blades is crossing or running through and get out of his way. Don't get knocked down like I did back there.
And notice how all the melees are sticking together so I can heal them easily. They're all fighting one mob. Nobody's spread out. Nobody's trying to kill anything themselves. Monks are stunning when they can stun. Just taking stuff down as quick as possible. Forge rotation will be up again soon. We just stick with the same thing throughout.
Let's see
Have
how
our heaviest hitters take down pillar bottoms.
Yeah, and see how if you have aggro of one of the trash, try and kite it through the blade barrier, because there's really no way that the kiter can personally pull them off, each one off of you. So just really kiting them through the blade barriers helps them out. And then if you got insta-kill methods like Void Fours or Prismatic Rays, try and go after the pillars that are, you know, high health. Don't try and beat down the 10% ones. And starting with the bottom ones because they got the greater HP than the top ones. But yeah, this raid's quickly coming to a close here. A lot of these players have been playing for a long time at this raid, running with our group. They got a lot of experience doing this, and that's probably the most important thing, is just knowing what to do without having been told, knowing what everybody's role is. Was pretty clutch for this raid.
And yeah, and also not expecting things. Taking care of yourself when you can. I know guys had their silver flame pots and things, like if I couldn't get to them in time, they would get to themselves. You know, expecting somebody to babysit you when they're trying to do, you know, they're trying to take care of somebody else. A little bit of wisdom is good.
Yeah, I mean, all around, you can't ask for a better raid group than these guys. A lot of people put in a lot of thought and a lot of work into getting better at this raid. It wasn't something we just walked into and we're good at, or we're still learning too, so it's a lot of fun. And there you have it, 19 minutes from the Elite Raiders of Khyber.